On Global TV News Express, Bayelsa Governor orders autopsy into death of deputy, warns against politicization. In business, President Tinubu approves 20 billion naira for Code of Conduct Bureau to strengthen anti-corruption drive. On the foreign scene, heads of state converge on Abuja for 68th ordinary session of ECOWAS. And in sports, Super Eagles open AFCON training camp in Egypt ahead of Morocco tournament. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Mukhtar Kasim. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and on StarTimes channel 276. And now, the news and details. Bayelsa State Governor Doye Dixon has ordered an autopsy to determine the cause of death of Deputy Governor Lawrence Oweko, who collapsed in his office on Thursday. Governor Duri issued the directive while receiving former President Goodluck Jonathan at the government house in Yenagoa, warning against the politicization of the death. Both leaders later paid a condolence visit to the deputy governor's widow, Beatrice, in the state capital. Now moving to Imo State, where the government, or rather the police state command, has demolished an illegal mortuary uncovered in Omutu community along the Owerri-Aba Expressway. The facility is expected to be used for storing mutilated corpses linked to an organ harvesting operation. The State Commissioner of Police, Aboki Danjuma, says the security operatives are intensifying efforts to arrest the alleged operator Stanley Oparugu, also known as Morocco, who remains at large. Our correspondent Amarachi Ibe has the details.
Days after the Imo State Police Command uncovers the illegal mortuary in Umechim Umuhu community, a joint team of security personnel and state officials returned to the site. Led by the Commissioner of Police, Danjuma Aboki, the team moved in to pull down the mortuary and adjoining hotel authorities describe as a cover and the suspect's residential building. Before demolition begins, unclaimed bodies are evacuated from the mortuary for mass burial.
We are going to wait for some days for those that devils the corpse should come and claim their corpses. And up till now, the owner of the mortuary that was declared wanted, he has not come out.
The Commissioner for Health, Dr. Chioma Egu, knows that the mortuary is not registered or licensed and poses a serious health threat. She explains that the check by her ministry shows vital organs are missing from several bodies, forcing the government to act. She adds that a task force is being set up to shut down illegal mortuaries across the state.
Following the directive of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Imo State, to evacuate the rest of the corpses out of here to a proper mortuary, and then we'll give a few days more grace in case there are people who own them, and then we'll have a mass burial. So,
the chairman of Nkokpala local government area, Chika Ibekwe, says residents welcomed the demolition and commended the state government for intervening.
So when we made the announcement, we noticed that they started evacuating some corpses. I got some calls from their relatives. I got some calls from some of the indigenes of this local government who came to say that they have their relatives lodged here.
Security agency says the operation continues as efforts intensify to dismantle criminal hideouts across the state and apprehend those responsible. From Owerri, Amarachi Ibe reporting for Global TV News.
The Nigerian Labour Congress NLC says there is no going back on its planned nationwide protest against insecurity, scheduled for December 17. NLC President Joe Ajaero stated this in Gombe State after meeting the chairman of the Northern Governors Forum and Gombe State Governor Inuwa Yahaya, stressing that insecurity now affects all Nigerians and is hurting the economy. Ajaero condemned recent attacks on schools, including the Kebbi incident, and urged the federal government to urgently secure vulnerable communities and critical institutions. The Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, Zubaida Umar, has stated that the agency has activated its preparedness mechanism nationwide to ensure a rapid response to emergencies during the festive period and beyond. Mrs. Umar made the statement in Abuja while leading staff of the agency on a fitness exercise. She also urged Nigerians to remain safety conscious throughout the festive season. NEMA coordinates disaster response efforts in Nigeria, working with the federal, state and local agencies to mitigate the impact of natural and human-induced disasters. Now, with Christmas just days away, many Nigerians are expressing concern over the rising cost of food items and the growing insecurity across several parts of the country. Despite the festive spirit, citizens say this year's celebration will require extra caution and careful planning. Our correspondent Kabir Hassan reports.
As festive seasons approaches, Abuja residents say a high cost of living is shaping how families will celebrate Christmas this year. Many Nigerians say inflation has forced them to cut back on spending and prioritize only essential needs. They also express concern about safety, urging government agencies to strengthen security patrols during the holidays.
I advise my fellow Nigerians to remain calm, and you cannot force yourself, do things above your limit. Whatever you have at your disposal, manage it. If there's no need for you to travel, remain in wherever you are and celebrate the Christmas with your families.
Avoid drinking a lot of alcohol in the sense of thinking you are celebrating. Your consumption for alcohol should reduce.
We don't need to force ourselves on something that is higher, but we can manage the one that we have at hand. And I believe that God will open way where there is no way. At the condition of the country, I have that belief that one day things will change in Nigeria.
Beyond caution, many Nigerians believe community vigilance and responsible spending are key to staying safe and avoiding unnecessary pressure during the festives.
Wherever they are, but if there's a need for you to travel, you have to security caution.
We should just stay at home because of the insecurities. Because you never can tell where any one of them is coming. Because of the insecurities, and then they call for the food. Just eat what you have. Just be contented with what you have.
Try and stay at home. Even though you are going out, try and come back home early and don't go far away. When you are going out, at least notify some people around you in case they do not see you, because you can never tell. Something may happen. So let us try and be safe.
Whatever you are doing, you have that security conscious. You will move with care. That is the truth of it. And anywhere that you know that there's insecurity, you have to know how to be managing, strolling around. It's not somewhere that when people gather, that's not the kind of place you will gather. The celebration is good, but we have to be on security conscious.
With uncertain economic conditions and persistent security concerns, Nigerians say the message this season is simple: celebrate wisely, stay alert, and support one another. Kabir Hassan, reporting for Global TV News.
The African Democratic Congress ADC has announced a 90-day nationwide membership mobilization, revalidation and registration exercise. According to a statement by the party's spokesperson, Bolaji Abdullahi, the ADC has also approved provisional dates for congresses and polling units, ward and local government level elections between January 20 and 27, 2026. The process will culminate in a non-elective national convention scheduled for February 26 in Abuja. And the trend known as Jaguar syndrome, where young Nigerians migrate abroad, is in large numbers continues to shape national conversation, raising concerns about the country's future workforce and leadership, with many believing that youth are the leaders of tomorrow. The increasing exodus has left Nigerians divided on what this means for the nation's economic growth. Kabir Hassan was on the streets of Abuja to hear Nigeria's opinion on the situation.
Across many Nigerian cities, the desire to see greener pasture abroad remains strong among young people, while some citizens see the Japa movement as a natural response to unemployment and economic hardship. Others fear it may drain the nation of its most productive minds. On the street of Abuja, Nigerians reacted in different opinions on their take on youths leaving the country despite being considered as the leaders of tomorrow.
The country, our dear country, is not encouraging the youth to stay, because in politics, in anything you want to do, the elders always block the youth of chance to develop their talent. And
so people are living in under the quarter. People are living under the bridge. Why? Because of the high rate of economy, which somebody can afford a meal or afford anything by themselves. So they believe that living outside Nigeria is more preferable.
So me, I expected to see most of our youth in government today, but they are not in government because they are personal interests in leadership. All what I am trying to advise the youth, let them stay behind, so that at least we will struggle to see that Nigeria is better.
For many respondents, the mass migration of skilled and educated youths is worrying. They argue that Nigeria risks losing its best innovators, professionals, and thinkers at a time when their contribution is most needed. Others, however, believe that the decision to Japa is a personal choice influenced by the desire for better education, job security, and quality of life opportunities. They say they are limited at home. When asked what advice would they give to youths considering leaving the country, Nigerians offered mixed views.
Should not be deterred, or they should not be discouraged. I know it's not every youth that have the opportunity to travel out of the country, but those who remain, they should still work harder. I believe with the awareness, the country will change, and our leaders will change from their normal behavior.
It's high time for us to come together as a youth in order to sit down and discuss on how and what we can do to make our country better. But at the same time, staying in Nigeria and earning in dollar is more preferable than staying in American and earning in dollar, because the high rate of tax in American is higher than what you are earning in American.
No, my advice is for those that are leaving, they could have get patient. Let us remain to see when God will intervene in our situation. Nigeria will get better.
As the debate continues, one thing remains clear. The Japa syndrome has become a defining reality for many Nigerian families and a pressing issue for policymakers. Kabir Hassan, reporting for Global TV News.
Now to some weather news. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency NIMET has forecast hazy conditions across northern and central Nigeria, with isolated thunderstorms expected in parts of south on Sunday, December 14. NIMET said dust haze may reduce visibility in the north and central regions, while southern states, including Lagos, Rivers, and Akwa Ibom, may experience pockets of afternoon rainfall. The agency advised motorists and residents to take precautionary measures, especially during early mornings and evening hours. You're watching the live broadcast of News Express. When News Express returns, ECOWAS heads of state converge in Abuja for 68th Ordinary Summit. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories. On the other side of this break, please stay with us. You're welcome back from that break, and now to business news, where President Bola Tinubu has approved an increase in the Code of Conduct Bureau's budget from about 3 billion naira to nearly 20 billion naira. The Bureau's chairman, Abubakar Bello, said the move is aimed at digitizing assets declaration, strengthening verification, and improving enforcement capacity. He revealed that the Bureau had been operating largely with manual processes, limiting its effectiveness in monitoring public offices. Still talking business, Nigeria and the European Union have signed a 45 million euros program to boost Nigeria's digital economy under the EU Digital Economy Back Package. The agreement was signed in Brussels by Nigeria's Communication Minister, Bosun Tijani, and the European Union Commissioner for International Partnership, Joseph Sikela, focusing on fiber infrastructure digital skills, and public services. Officials say the initiative will expand broadband access, attract investment, and support youth employment in Nigeria's growing tech sector. And now to news making rounds on the foreign scene. The 68th ordinary session of the Economic Community of West African States ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government is set to begin at the State House Conference Center in Abuja. The summit, chaired by Sierra Leone's President Julius Maada Bio, will deliberate on regional security, political transition, economic integration, and future of the bloc. The meeting is expected to end with the final communique and a joint press conference by regional leaders. Now, still in Africa, the United Nations has condemned a deadly drone attack on a United Nations facility in Sudan's Kordofan region that killed 6 Bangladeshi peacekeepers. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres described the attack as unjustifiable and warned it may constitute a war crime under international law. The Sudanese military blamed the Rapid Support Forces as the United Nations renewed calls for a ceasefire amidst worsening humanitarian conditions. Away from Africa, at least 9 people have been killed following a shooting at Sydney's popular Bondi Beach in Australia. Police say 2 suspect gunmen opened fire, leaving multiple victims wounded and triggering panic among beachgoers. Authorities have launched an investigation as eyewitnesses described scenes of chaos and people lying injured on the ground. And now to sport. The Super Eagles of Nigeria have opened their training camp in Cairo, Egypt, ahead of the 2025 African Cup of Nations in Morocco. Goalkeeper Francis Uzoho was the first player to report to camp as coaches and backroom staff began preparations for the tournament in Morocco. Nigeria is expected to play a pre-tournament friendly as part of its final build-up. Still talking sports, the African Union AU has formally awarded Nigeria the hosting rights for the 6th Specialized Technical Committee meeting of the African Union Sports Council, scheduled to hold in 2027. The decision was announced at the meeting of ministers of the African Union Sports Council held in Burundi. In approving Nigeria's hosting rights, the Council of Ministers acknowledged the country's renewed leadership role in African sport, its proven capacity to deliver complex international events, and its growing influence in youth development and cultural advancement initiatives across the continent. The endorsement followed a comprehensive presentation by the chairman of the National Sports Commission, Shehu Diko, which highlighted Nigeria's recent success in hosting major sporting events, ongoing institutional reforms within the sport ecosystem, and the country's demonstrated readiness to host high-level continental engagement. And finally, in sport, Team Nigeria have recorded a strong showing in athletics at the 4th African Youth Games in Angola, finishing with 11 medals, 6 golds and 5 silver across track and field events. The medals came from dominant performances in the sprint, middle distance races, relays, and selected field events, underlining Nigeria's depth in youth athletics and grassroots talent development. Reacting to the outcome, the CEO of NSC Elite Athlete and Podium Board, Yusuf Ali, said the performance reflects the impact of sustained investment, quality coaching, and early exposure needed to prepare young athletes for future international competitions.
I'm so pleased because when it comes to age group competition, I don't go there to win. I go there as a developmental program, and we can see 2, 3, 4, 5 of these athletes will make the future. And I'm very happy the age. Some are very young, and I think that's what we are trying to do now as a country to make sure that we are running the right age. I know people want to go to events like this to win, but for me, as Yusuf Ali, I don't go to events to win. I go there to develop athletes, to look at who will make the future. In the next 2, 3 years, these athletes will be in the national team. Some of them will be in the Olympic Games. And I think that's when we start to benefit everything that we are doing now. I think the Sports Commission cleverly are doing the right thing, and I think if they just continue on that note, I think Nigeria will come back to the golden era.
Now, as Global TV News Express comes to an end, here is a recap of our top stories. On Global TV News Express, we brought to you that Bayelsa State Governor Doye has ordered an autopsy to determine the cause of death of Deputy Governor Lawrence Uwajakpo, who collapsed in his office on Thursday. In business, we brought to you that President Bola Tinubu has approved an increase in the Code of Conduct Bureau's budget from about 3 billion naira to nearly 20 billion naira. On the foreign scene, you heard that the 68th ordinary session of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government is set to begin at the State House Conference in Abuja. In sports, Super Eagles have opened their training camp in Cairo, Egypt, ahead of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. And that's it on Global TV News Express. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using our Global TV NJ. I am Mukhtar Kasim, saying a very big thank you for watching.